Coming up next, I'll answer the question that's been asked, are the future careers of young Americans doomed? And I'll show you how to get a tech career for less time and money. And it all starts right now. I'm coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do that, and how you can get there. How do you make the dream a reality? Now, we're going to look at the dream and what you were created to do through the lens of work, because we believe here on the Ken Coleman Show that you were, in fact, created to work. You were created to work. Now, does that mean that I think you should be a workaholic and that you have no relationships and it's all about climbing the corporate ladder? No, that's an empty, hollow pursuit. What I'm saying is that you are created to contribute, and a big part of your contribution is work. You essentially have two major buckets of contribution in your life, your relationships and your work. And they intermingle, and we have a lot of relationship and work intermingling here in the calls. But we're going to focus on what you were created to do. We call it the sweet spot. It's the intersection of your three gifts: talent, what you do best; passion, what you love to do, work you love to do; and then mission, the results of your work that you long to create that really fire your soul up. So you use what you do best to do work you love to produce results that matter deeply to you. That is that area of contribution that we call the sweet spot. So I want to help you figure out what those gifts are. That'll get you through stage one, which is get clear. Then we want to walk you through getting qualified. Stage two. Stage three is getting connected. Stage four, getting started. Stage five, getting promoted. Stage six, getting the dream job. And then really in stage 6 and 7 consecutively as you work like no one else. Now, once you're in the dream job, it's about expanding the vision of that dream, expanding your influence. And we call that final stage, giving yourself away. So what stage are you in? Let's help you identify that. Let's help you come up with the steps to take to get to the next stage and keep on moving, climbing up that mountain and being who you were created to be, working like no one else. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577 is the number. All right, we start off this program every day with relevant data, articles, things that I think will equip you and help you. And going a little bit different of a direction today, I still think it's going to equip and encourage you young folks. And I hope it encourages the parents of these young folks. And I'm talking about 20-somethings. These are the folks in the early 20s. They're the mosaics, Gen Z, and then, of course, the tail end of millennials. And Madison, the associate producer, she and Joe, they collect articles, they do a lot of research, and we go over these each week. And I decide, okay, what are we going to share? And when Madison showed me this one, the headline screamed at me. Are America's 20-somethings doomed to become a lost generation? Now, I saw that and I was like, you got to be kidding me. Of course they're not doomed to be a lost generation. What kind of a headline is that? Now, I could go off on a 30-minute rant about headlines and the science behind headlines to be negative, to get you to look at them, snap your neck, whatever. This is one of those things. Because it is a preposterous question. And my emphatic answer is, you 20-somethings, yes, you're coming out of college in a tough time. The pandemic has reset a lot of issues and things that are creating real hurdles for you. But are you able to overcome those challenges? Yes, you are, because you're a human. And the human spirit is the most powerful thing on this planet. And it is preposterous, ridiculous, incredulous to say, to even ask, are America's 20-somethings doomed to become a lost generation? It's ridiculous. Here's the reality. They're trying to build this question on these data points. I want to share the data points, and I'm going to come back to why these data points aren't relevant information, foundational information to ask a ludicrous question like this. The unemployment rate for young people aged 20 to 24 was at 12.5% in September. It was the highest unemployment rate demographic among all adults. In April of this year, the height of when the pandemic was really kind of taking off and really in the early days, and the shutdowns, furloughs, everything's happening rapidly. The age 20 to 24 demographic, the unemployment was at 26%. For recent college grads, unemployment during the pandemic peaked at 20% in June. So now this is a little bit drilling deeper down here in this age group of recent college grads in that 20 to 24 age group. The pandemic wreaked havoc, and unemployment for that group was at 20% in June. Now, they're looking at all these numbers and they're going, listen, these kids, they're trying to get started. They're in the early stages of their professional career, and the economy is really tough. Unemployment rate is higher for them. So what? The article tries to suggest that companies want more experienced workers and won't have to pay them as much. That's a bunch of garbage as well. Let me explain why. Prior to the pandemic, so even in the first 2 months of this year, January, February of 2020, salaries were growing at a crazy rate because we had an unemployment rate of 3.4%. And there were more jobs available than there were people who were unemployed. And so people were leaving one company, going to another company in the same exact job and getting a significant pay increase. This was an artificial, medical, political suppression of our world economy. There weren't bad economic indicators. There weren't all these things. It was just, hey, to protect the people, there were shutdowns. It just happened. And as a result, it affected large portions of the global economy. The economic fundamentals in the United States, and this article is written about 20-somethings in the United States, the economic fundamentals were very strong. And we're seeing the unemployment rate is dropping. As we see the full opening of our traditional economy, you will see jobs come back. The private sector isn't going to quit and take their ball and go home. Have there been massive losses and massive things that we're going to have to overcome? Yes. But it is ludicrous to say that people age 20 to 24 aren't going to be able to get employed, aren't going to be able to pursue a dream. I think that's just absolute utter garbage, and I dispute it and I refute it. And I'm telling you, if you're hearing this, young people and parents of people that age, you better dispel this. So this is a myth, and it is doom and gloom mentality, and it's ridiculous. The future is very bright for 20 to 24-year-olds. Very, very bright. They will step in. Our generations will hand them the baton. They will do things. They will step into jobs that don't even exist right now in the days and weeks and months and years ahead. So get your chin up, figure out what that dream is, and let's begin the climb. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Let's go to Boise, Idaho to start us off today. Jennifer is there. Jennifer, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Thank you for having me.
You bet, Jennifer. How can I help?
I am miserable.
Oh, boy, that had about 5 syllables in it. That's not good.
I am running a small business, family business, and have been very successful and doing very well. It's been around since 1960. I bought it from my dad in 2014. It's all I've done. It's all I know. I am miserable and I want out.
Okay.
I have no clue. I have no clue what to do, where to go.
Okay, well,
the interesting thing is that my daughter works here. She gave me her notice this year. She wants to do something different. She's scared, but she's looked at how miserable I am and how stressed out I am, and she wants nothing to do with it. And so I it took the pandemic to get my attention and realize how much I do not want to continue my life like this.
Great. Good news. You're really clear. You're really clear that this is not it, and that you want to move on. And
I mean, I've spent all my time looking at employees to make sure they're in the right spot and that they're, on the bus moving ahead, but I've never done it with myself.
Well, hey, this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. I want you to change your mindset on this. Is a good thing that you've got this wake-up call. So I want to go a couple ways here. First thing I want to do is I want to know why you're so miserable in the work. Describe what about running this business makes you miserable.
I put out fires. I come to work to put out fires all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lost a lot of team members, people that, not really team members, but employees that don't want to work because they're afraid of getting COVID. Mm-hmm. So I can't even find people to hire to do the job. So I'm ending up working long hours or, doing things that like legally I cannot say, you have to go do this.
Were you miserable prior to COVID?
Yep.
Okay.
I just didn't know it.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. If, so putting out the fires, there's a deeper story here. Cause if I was doing some coaching with you, I have
coaches, I have business coaches.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what they're doing for you, because I would find out why the fires. We need to figure out why the fires. And here's where I'm going with this. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I just want to at least park here for a moment. If we figured out how to put out the fires, and if we got the stuff off of your plate that makes you miserable, are there things in the business that you have done in the past that you enjoy?
Yes.
Tell me what that. Okay, this is fun. I want you to tell me what those are, but I want you to tell me with the context of, if you could make the changes today. Let's say that I just waved my Ken Coleman Show pencil in the air and went poof, and all you did was the list you're about to give me, and you came in and you were the CEO, the owner, and you only did these things. What would that day look like? Describe it.
I would be responsible for a client or a job that came through beginning to end. I would not be managing people. Mm-hmm. And I would not be basically dealing with, I've got processes and procedures in place, but I don't have the time to stay on top of it. So if I had a manager that was running the place, but I'm working in the business, not on it, I think I could do that.
I don't
know that it would be my passion, but I could be happier than I am now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's pause that idea. What do you think is your dream? What if we sell your business today and we make some nice money on it and you get to start fresh? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail and it was just you? You're doing your thing. What would you do?
I would definitely be doing something that doesn't involve, I like to be active. So climbing a ladder and painting a building, that sounds appealing to me.
Really? Manual labor?
Labor, yeah.
Okay, be more specific. Dream for a second. What would you do? Just for fun. You don't even have to commit to it.
Phoenix, Arizona.
What would you do? What'd you say?
That fills me up. Phoenix, Arizona fills me up. I go there a couple times a year.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what would you do for a living if just for fun? You knew you couldn't fail. You didn't even have to commit the rest of your life to it, but you do it tomorrow in Phoenix. Let's have some real fun with this since we're there. Let's just move.
Landscaping, working in a nursery.
Interesting. Are you entrepreneurial?
Completely different. Yeah, I am.
So eventually you would probably start your own landscaping business and you would be hands-on.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What is your?
I don't want to run the business though.
I get it. So what is your business right now? What kind of business is it?
It's a sign company.
Sign company?
Yeah, signs.
Okay. Are you profitable?
Yes.
Okay, and what do you think if we could do 1 to 3 times our earnings What do you think the earnings before tax is called EBITDA? What do you think the business is worth on the market if you sold it?
Probably $500,000.
And do you owe any money on the company? Any debt? Any company debt?
Just the loan, the government loan.
How much?
It's $65,000, but it's supposedly it's the PPP, so it should be forgiven.
Oh, okay. So the thing here is I'm walking you through. If you sold it, and let's say you walk away with $450,000 or $500,000, do you get all of that, or is there anybody else that are stockholders that would get any money from
I'm it.
Well, so now you've got some time to just chill out and decide what your next move is, and decide, do you want to stay in Boise and go work for somebody for a while and just to be a landscape designer and pull a paycheck, because you really don't need the money, but you kind of figure out what would it look like if I ran a business. Because here's what I think the challenge is. I always want to drive you to your dream. I really do. And so the landscaping thing, I think that's something that I think you need to take steps towards. So I think you sell the company. But if you were to decide to stay in the company, the real challenge you have, and even going forward in landscaping, if you own your own business, your challenge is you aren't necessarily gifted at working with people. That doesn't make you bad. That doesn't make you less than. Everybody's got talents in certain areas and passion. And so you're not really good at working with people as far as leading people, and you don't enjoy it. We know that. That's okay. Mm-hmm. That's okay. But knowing that and stepping into that is what's huge. So if you were to ever run a business again, your deal is you're going to work with the customer because you're okay working with a customer, because that's a straightforward transaction. Well, you just don't want to lead a bunch of people problems and deal with all that stuff. You just want to do the work and make sure that the vision is being, minded to. So I think if I were you, I would sell the company. I'd take some time off and play with the dream a little bit, and show up and do some landscaping for a while. Look into landscape architecture. What would that look like if you were essentially worked for a bigger company and all you did was come in and work with the client, designed it, and then went to the next thing, and you weren't leading a team of people. You got a nice chunk of change in your pocket. I think that's the path. I'd sell the business if it were me.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at.
Did I answer your question then?
You've validated kind of where in my head I was going. As far as the landscape thing, I just threw that out because you asked me the question, but I never pictured myself doing it.
Start picturing it, because here's the deal.
Okay.
When you pocket $500,000, I want you to take 3 to 6 months and just picture a future. It'll come to you.
Oh, not do it right away?
No. Well, it'll play around, but don't go all in. Like, maybe go work for somebody locally. Just show up and start working for a landscape company in Boise, and just get out there and see what that feels like.
Okay.
Because remember, you don't need the money. It's not like a pressure situation, but it's kicking the tires.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I like that.
Yeah, and keep listening to my program. Listen to me.
Oh, I do.
Walk people through. You know how to figure out the sweet spot. Do it yourself. Go take the Career Clarity Guide. It's free at kencoleman.com. In fact, you need to do that, Jennifer. But here's the deal. Those are the steps. Sell it, breathe, experiment, explore, go to Phoenix, stay in a nice resort when they open up, get yourself a massage, and continue to dream and figure out what it is you want to do. You know what I'm saying? It'll come to you. So I'm not saying that you have to do landscaping, but that question I ask you, what would you do if money wasn't an object and you just wanted to work to stay busy and do something you love? There's a reason why I talk about passion and mission. Passion is work you love to do, the work itself. Jennifer, you love physical labor. You love that creative physical application, right? Whether it's designing
the tangibility.
Whether it's painting a house, making it look better, or creating a beautiful landscape curb. That all appeals to you. There's a creative thing going on there, but it's also, I like to see it and do it. And so you've got to follow that, and the answers are there. So go, Jennifer, you're ready. Let's go. Oh my gosh, we're going to stay in Boise, Idaho. Boise's popular on the Ken Coleman Show. Natalie is in Boise. Natalie, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call, Ken.
Sure. Do you by any chance know Jennifer? We don't know her last name, but it was just Jennifer in Boise. Any chance you know Jennifer?
I don't know. I might have used her sign business before.
Hey, I like that. All right, Natalie, it's all you. How can I help?
So I am actually living my dream job right now. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I absolutely love it.
Love it.
And it's just a season, and I was a high school English teacher for 5 years, and I loved that. And to stay certified, you have to take so many classes every year. So I'm keeping my certification up in case I want to go back to teaching. But now that I've been out of teaching for about a year, I'm wondering if I want to pursue some other passions and maybe use these classes that I need to take anyway. So I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what's wise with my time, because my time is very precious to me with my daughter. So.
Well, I want you to keep asking me any questions that you have. I want to take kind of a higher level stab at what you just asked me. And I think how to determine what's wise is really your specific question, even though it's not as detailed. And I think you have to determine, okay, I've got X amount of hours per week. I think it's that simple. I think you really run that exercise out because you're in your dream right now. You're a stay-at-home mom. Let me tell you something. Natalie, I've got a soon-to-be 12-year-old. I got another 12-year-old. I've got a soon-to-be 15-year-old. It goes so fast. And so I love where your head and heart are. I think it's as simple as going, if you were my wife, I'd go, babe, how many hours do you legitimately have? Let's just be very conservative here, because you got some weeks where something goes on with the kid, right? Something gets rescheduled for the kids' sports or whatever, and it throws your whole day. So realistically, how much time do you have? I would challenge you to come up with a conservative number. If it's 5 hours, 3 hours a week, I don't know, it may be as much as 10. I don't know, you do. I would start there. Because once you have a realistic, it's like budgeting your money. You got to budget your time. And once you're realistic on what you really have, you go, all right, I have limited time, and so I'm going to apply that time like I would my money in a budget, and I'm going to put the money where it's making the most effect. So you're looking at, you're going, okay, what about this class over here, or what about this? Which of the things that I'm tinkering with and kicking around that I'd like to do to stay current on what's the highest priority? And so I would go at it that way. Is that answering your question for you?
It's starting to. The hard thing for me is, like, I've been listening to you for a while, and you really push people to say, well, what's the thing you would do if there was no, if you didn't have to worry about money or things like that. And the thing that I would love to do, as I honestly, ever since I was young, would love to be a writer. And I taught English, and I loved teaching writing, and I loved teaching. I just don't see myself going back to it anytime soon.
I don't ever see you going back. Let me free you from that.
Okay. Really?
Let me tell you why. When you just talked about writing, your whole tone changed. You've always wanted to be a writer. You said those words. So to me, teaching is only a day job option. Meaning if you just at some point want to go back and make a little bit of money for something or whatever, and because you're qualified, you could step back in and do it. Maybe you do it for a season to help further this dream of writing. But as far as doing teaching long term, I'm taking that off the table for you, because it's nothing more than a functional day job. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Of course. What do you want to write? What if I told you, Natalie, go write, and in 2 to 3 years, you're going to be wildly successful as a writer? What does that look like? What's that mean? What are you writing? Novels? Educational books? What are you writing?
I think it'd be like, I don't know, some fiction or even some nonfiction, because I adopted my daughter internationally, and so I do a lot of like short writing, blog posts and things about that, and people are very interested in that. And so and I have started to write some, just using my experience as a high school teacher, writing some fiction. I just kind of did it for fun, and I really liked it. And I love reading. I read like 50 books a year. So I'm very interested in reading and writing. And so I don't know.
I want you to do both.
Yeah.
I want you to do both. I want you to keep writing, about adoption issues and things that you've learned. And then I want you to also take a real, get after it. Don't let anybody see it until you want to show it to them. But I would write that first nonfiction piece. I'd write that first fiction piece. I really would. There's something in the actual writing when you commit to do it. And I'm not talking about, don't start this deal and go, well, I'm trying to write something that's going to get published. Don't even think about that. Write a story that you would want to read, that would entertain you, that would move you, that would inspire you, that would challenge you. Write that fiction story. And then when it's done, let's see what happens. You can self-publish it. You can start shopping it. And I'm actually going to send you to a friend of mine. She was actually on the program. We had her on our YouTube. We have the Allie Fallon. Is the Allie Fallon conversation? It was on the podcast. Okay. But it's not on YouTube yet? Okay. I want you to look up Allison Fallon. Her website is ALLISON Fallon.com. Okay.
Okay.
And she was on our podcast. Is that searchable? It is. So they can go into the Ken Coleman Show podcast and search Allie Fallon. Okay. Will you promise me to do that, Natalie?
Yes, I promise I'll do that.
Because listen, it's free. Okay. And listen to the interview that I did with her. It's going to fire you up. Yeah. It's going to set you free. She's a mom, a new mom, but she's a writing coach and she's world class.
Okay.
And her website's got a bunch of great resources. And she could coach you, but she's got a great blog. I would follow her on Instagram. She's really, really great. I don't think there's anybody better at her when it comes to coaching and inspiring wannabe. Right? Is that the little one there?
Yeah, she's giggling at me right now.
Well, that's fantastic. I love it. I thought she was laughing at me. But anyway, if you do that, I think you're going to be really inspired. So back to your initial question, where do you spend most of your time, that free time? I would spend it on writing.
Okay.
And again, if you need to keep your
classes, or
yes, I think you should sign up for what Allie's doing. She's the best.
Okay.
She's got great courses, and that's why I'm sending you to her. I think you should consider. I'm not endorsing it, saying you must do it. I'm saying I endorse her quality and I endorse her. And you make up your own mind if you want to pay for the classes. But I would start with her, and then I would also start writing as well. So hey, thanks for the call, and I love it. I love the. It may have been the child that said woo earlier. Oh, I thought it was Natalie. I was like, oh, this is exciting. Natalie's getting fired up. And it's like a little kid going, woo, whatever. So, oh, well, Uncle Ken's always here to entertain the kids. 844-747-2577. All right, let's go to the chat room. Let's see what we got here. Hurricane. Oh, that's fun. I need a username like this. I need a username that has this nature, force of nature thing to it. I think I would like to be Tornado. Because my mom would tell you that as a kid, I was basically a tornado. You know what I mean? Yeah. A little messy, a little bit in a hurry. Don't say anything else, Madison, okay? You've already said enough. I understand. All right. I'm starting to get insecure all of a sudden. No. Hurricane asks, what should I do if I feel I'm being overlooked? Okay. I love this question because there's a lot here. Okay, there's a lot below the surface. I wish, Hurricane, that you'd call into the show because I'd like to know more. But I'm going to walk you through some things. First, you need to verify that you're actually being overlooked. How do I do that? Well, you need to talk to coworkers. And you're going to have some maturity here. You can't go in and start sounding like a gossip or a complainer, a whiner. You can't do that. You got to be straightforward. You got to be humble and say, hey, just curious. Do you think that I've been overlooked for this opportunity? Get the peer answer. And then I would sit down with the leader and say, hey, I'm not saying this is a fact, but I've got a feeling, a voice in my head that I don't want to listen to. And so I'm coming to you. I feel like I've been overlooked, or I'm wondering if you are considering me for this. So don't say overlooked to the leader. Go, have you considered me for this? I'd like to be considered for this. And so this is where, again, you're not on the phone, so I don't know if you've already done this. But I always, when somebody says this, I go, okay, that's probably real, but there's a chance that it's not real. And so we want to verify this, because sometimes we get in our minds through a set of circumstances that our leader sees us one way, and it's not the truth. And we are unwittingly contributing to the perception that we have, meaning it's not real, but we've created our own perception that it is in fact real. So I want you to really dive in. Humility with the leader to say, hey, I'm raising my hand. I have been raising my hand. Maybe I'm not raising enough. Is there anything I can do to move up? And so you come at it from a healthy standpoint to say, I want this. I want to move up. What can I do? What should I be doing? What do I need to fix? Where can I be getting some more skills? That's the right approach. Let's see what the answer is. If it's a mealy-mouthed, no detailed answer, then your instincts are probably right. They're not interested in doing anything with you, or they have overlooked you, or they see you one way. And so that would be your sign that it's time to move on. Oh, I like this question. Andy writes in, what jobs would you recommend for an introvert? I would not recommend any job specifically for an introvert. And the reason is that introverts, unfortunately, already are living in what I think is an extrovert world. I'm an extrovert, and so I can say this, I think, that I think the world does slant. It kind of just leans toward the extrovert. But when I say that, that doesn't mean that I'm making excuses for introverts. But what I'm saying is that it's ridiculous to me that even exists, because introverts are just as good at every job that an extrovert would be good at. You say, oh, come on, Ken, that's not true. What about a salesperson? I'm telling you, some of the best salespeople in the world are introverts. I mean, let's really break this down. Does a salesperson have to be like, hey, man, how you doing? It's a great day to buy a car, isn't it? Now, let me tell you something. If that guy approaches me, Joe, I'm like, oh, geez, no thanks, man.
You're radioactive.
Turn it down. Versus what I would consider a true introvert approach, introspective, thoughtful, engaged, good listener, not trying to dominate the conversation. Okay, so introverts, and I could go down the list. Introvert, extrovert is just a personality feature. That's what I'm going to call it. A personality. Maybe it's deeper than a feature. Maybe it's, I'll call it a default, right? So it comes with the computer. You're extroverted. Some are higher extroverts. Some are high level of introverts. And then there's a scale. So if we got extreme extrovert, extreme introvert, then we're all somewhere on that spectrum. But that's a default mode. It has nothing to do with your talent. It has nothing to do. Oh, let me restate that. It has little to do with your talent. It has little to do with your passion and little to do with your mission. It's just the way you like to engage. It's your comfort zone as it relates to interpersonal interaction. So don't let anybody label you, and don't label yourself, because that's what's happening. I don't like that label. The question, Andy, should be, Ken, what are some great jobs in my sweet spot? Well, what's your sweet spot, Andy? Call me. Let's figure that out. If you don't know, that's what you're looking for, And now, let me just say this. As an extrovert or introvert, that default does become an indicator for you, because if you take a job and you are an extreme extrovert, and you take a job that has you in isolation all day, that's not going to be a sweet spot job for you. Because part of, and we look at the sweet spot analogy, the three gifts, talent, passion, mission, it's not all personality. It's that a person who is an extreme extrovert is going to love work that is engaging with people. So when they go through the passion, what work do I love to do? What results matter to me under mission? Passion and mission are going to have clear indicators that are people focused. So in other words, an extreme extrovert is going to be good at people work and is going to enjoy people work. Or in other words, good at working with people and enjoy working with people. Okay. So that's where it all comes together. So what I teach and the get clear stage of true self-awareness and looking at the three gifts in that comprise your sweet spot, talent, passion, mission, the introvert extrovert will take care of itself. But it's not, well, there's a set of jobs for introverts and a set of jobs. I don't like that. And I'll go on record. I'm not trying to criticize anybody, but there are best-selling books written on personality profiles and saying, well, if you're this personality profile, you could do very well over here. Well, that may or may not be true, but that's bad science. The sweet spot is the indicator of all indicators. I'm just telling you. There's a reason why I teach it. It gives tremendous clarity. So there you go. Thanks for the questions. All right. Very excited. So what if I told you that in 9 months and for a fraction of the cost of a semester or a year at a major state college, you could get trained and get placed in the technology sector and be on your track to making six figures? Now, this is for those of you who want to switch or want to start into the tech industry, and the tech industry, technology is in every industry. There's no industry that doesn't have massive technology in their business, in their organization, and thus the need for people that are skilled. This is a great future for some of you. It is in your sweet spot because you love working with processes and things. You're good at it. You've got that technology wiring. Some of you go, well, Ken, I think I've got it, but I don't have any experience, and I'm not even sure I have the skills. You don't need the skills. Your brain can be trained to do very well in technology, and I'm so excited to announce a partnership with Bethel Tech. I recently had their CEO in with me, Ryan Collins, in this studio, and we continue our conversation about how easy it is to partner with Bethel Tech and move into a career in technology. Watch this. All right, Ryan, so let's look at the landscape. There are a lot of tech jobs that were available pre-COVID. They're still there. The tech world isn't going to slow down. Give us, and the folks that are watching and listening right now, give us a sense of the range of jobs in the technology field that not only are you training them for, but that they can be considering.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we focus on software development, data science, and UI UX design. And those are really entry points to grow in the tech space. And every company is a tech company. I mean, the future of work is in tech. Pre-COVID, 1 million unfilled tech jobs in the U.S. alone, and only 60,000 computer science graduates. Over the next 10 years, software developers, that job is growing 22%. If you look at U.S. News and World Report, Indeed, Glassdoor, all the major job publications, they all list software developer as the number one job in the U.S. And it really is a starting point for you, and that's the whole point. So, and the beauty of that is, I think a lot of people think, I got to go to a school and then I have to go to a tech company like Facebook or Microsoft, which is awesome. If you can do that, that's great. But the thing is that all these other major companies need it as well. Finance, healthcare. I mean, major in finance and insurance and healthcare, manufacturing. Every company is focused on finding qualified talent. And just last year, they could only find one qualified candidate for every 3 open positions. And this is good paying. Starting pay for a junior developer is $66,000. Wow. It's not uncommon to be making 6 figures in 2 to 3 years.
Wow! And they're just waiting for somebody to be trained.
Yeah, and I'll tell you too. I mean, I know we're in an interesting season now, where with jobs and everything. But I just had one of the Fortune level healthcare companies just reach out to me last week. Said, "Hey Ryan, in the next 12 to 18 months, we are hiring 4,000 new technologists in our tech space. So we need you. We need your students and graduates like yesterday."
4,000 positions. Folks, I hope you're listening to this. You're essentially 9 months away from getting qualified. and maybe not that much longer after that to actually getting placed. When Ryan's got folks calling him saying, hey, send me your students, that's a really good place to be. And we're partnering because there's a massive need and there's a massive desire on your end. And Ryan and his team at Bethel Tech, they can get you where you want to go. We've got a very special offer. Tell them about the discount and where they need to go to sign up, or at least kick the tires right now.
Yeah, well, you can go to betheltech.net/Ken Coleman, and we're offering a $500 tuition reduction to anybody who comes through that channel. So maybe that's for you, maybe that's for your son or your daughter or a friend or somebody at church. Like, I would highly encourage you to give them that information as well, and we'll take care of them.
Oh, I love it. It's fun to know that people are waiting. They're waiting for your students. So jump on this. Do not wait. Call Ryan and his team and learn more about how you can get started right now. I'm so excited about this, folks, because these are the partnerships that we are going to continue to forge for you. I want low cost and effective amount of time for you to be able to get qualified to do what you want to do. And you've heard me rant and rave about this. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is, because college is not the only way. It's not even the best way for a lot of you. It is great organizations like Bethel Tech that can get you qualified, get you connected, and get you started. That's stage 2, 3, and 4, and they are squarely in my clear path for you to reach your dream job. And I'm very excited about this. Check it out. You make your own decision. Kick the tires. Talk to them. Tell them I sent you. And if you sign up, you're going to get the $500 tuition discount. But you are going to be on your way. So I want you to spread the word, friends and family that are thinking about technology as the field they want to go into. You feel like you're in your sweet spot. You better do your homework. And don't just chase the money on this. But this is a great way for you to quickly and cost effectively get qualified. And again, what I love about Bethel Tech is they're not just qualifying you. They're connecting you and helping you get started. So check them out. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman. All right, Joe, my time is almost up. But before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.